Hey everyone, just wanted to do a video sharing my experiences of having an EV and renting and not having a place to charge at home. And I've had this is a 2013 Nissan Leaf. I've had it for 2 years now, and it has about 70 miles or so when it's fully charged. Probably more so summer weather, but not too bad in winter actually. So some of my experiences, I'm kind of in the best case scenario for a low range EV, like around town, because for one, work at home. The main kind of things I do during the week is I teach Kundalini yoga once or twice a week, and that's about like 26, 27 miles round trip, so I do that. So most of the time I just kind of hit local chargers around town that's really close to me. There's one that's about 13-minute walk from my place. And I often go there, sometimes on a lunch break, leave it there, and come get it back after work, or sometimes on the weekend if I know I want to go on a longer distance, go up into the mountains kind of thing, which I can easily do. I kind of leave it there for a couple hours, kind of do my morning yoga, eat breakfast, go and get a fully charged car. And one thing that's been kind of nice is the main reason why I wanted to get an electric car. For one, stop paying gas, that's a given. But I noticed there's lots of free chargers around town as well. And for the 2 years I've had this car, I have never paid for any charging. Now there's a trade-off to that. I need to go somewhere, I have to really plan my trips around waiting, basically. So I'm at a Nissan dealer using their chargers. They're free. And it's kind of hit or miss. There's only one fast charger here, and then there's one level 2, and it seems like most of the time one of them's out a lot of the time, so it's just one level 2 that's here. And you just kind of get used to it. You just kind of pay with your time instead of money, and you think about your trips more. Do I need to do this, or can I combine trips? And I've adapted to it very well. It kind of depends. If you're renting and you can't charge at home, something to consider would be, one, how patient you are. Two would be, if you have a commute, are you able to charge at work? If you can, that would be a huge benefit. If not, and you have to rely on public chargers around town, it depends how close they are, and again, your patience level and the range of your EV. So in my situation, since I work at home, it's been fine. There's been very often where I would go like a whole week without charging, unless I have more errands. So sometimes it just depends on the week. And you tend to talk to people more at chargers. Like, it's very, very rare I've talked to someone at a gas station unless they have like a cool car or something like that. But at EV charging stations, unless you're hanging out in your car, you're going for a walk or you're coming back. So sometimes people are just kind of hanging around the car, especially if it's nice. They're kind of hanging outside the car. And so I've talked to them about Aptera stuff, kind of taught them a little bit about it, and they are excited about that. Trying to think what else I could share from my experiences. No, it is possible I could charge at the apartment I'm renting now, and it would have to run a really long extension cord out my window, and it would be a tripping hazard for people. I don't have the way to really make the cord not get in people's way, so that's why I don't charge at home. And over the years, I've kind of not stress tested, but just kind of see how far I can go. Like, I can go down a ways out of the city. I can go up to the mountains, kind of top off, go even further. I've done that a few times. So probably the most I've taken it is like go somewhere, charge, go into the mountains, come back, charge, and come back home. So there's definitely more of like a full day trip, which again comes down to your patience level and charging availability. And this is my only car. So for longer trips, like I've taken a shuttle down to St. George from Salt Lake City, and that's been fine. It's a pretty relaxing drive. I've flown a couple times, or I've borrowed a car. So there's, if I wasn't able to borrow a car, I'd be willing to rent. It's cheaper than having two cars, like a shorter range EV, like for city use, and then owning like a gas car for long trips doesn't really make sense because most of the year you don't use it. So that was kind of my reasoning, is just to figure that out, kind of force myself to figure it out by just getting rid of a gas car and just converting to this. So as many of you know, I'm going to be getting an Aptera. My choice right now is a 600 mile range one. Not that I think I'd ever drive that much in a day, it's just more to have the extra capacity, just to not have to charge, kind of continue my free charging streak, either from the sun or local places around town. And I think just using the level 2s around town for Aptera, if I'm still living here at that point, will do plenty for me. I could still drive around for free, and that's always not going to be the case, but I still think there will always be level 2 chargers at certain locations. Part of it's like almost like an advertising perk for the companies, like maybe like in a shopping mall, because you're kind of captive there, so you would go shop at those areas. So I can see how some of those will still continue to be free. The faster chargers, I could see those not being free after a while. So some of the fast chargers I do hit. There's one at this Nissan dealer I'm at now. There's another one I hit on the way to teach Kundalini Yoga. I stop at a charge point. It's another free one, level 2. So those are the two main DC chargers I hit, and it does fine. I hit the DC chargers more in the winter. I try to keep away from the DC chargers in the summer, just to keep the battery temperature low, since this is a Leaf, because it's fairly close to like the temperature outside. So right now it's 37 and the battery temperature is like 33, pretty cold battery. So charging in the cold like this is fine. You don't get very high speeds, but keep the battery healthy. So what else can I share about my 2 years so far? I've never gotten stranded. No, the only time I've been under 10% is when I'm just around where I live, and there's a charger a mile or two down the street. So sometimes, I push it a little more, and I very rarely get under 20. But I think that those 10% times was after like a long trip away from the city and coming back. I kind of use Leaf Spy to kind of gauge my real world distance versus what's on the car. If I kind of put the average kilowatts per hour in the app, it's actually extremely accurate as far as if you kind of drive very efficiently, it's pretty much right on. So that's saved me a few times as far as, can I go out of the city into the mountains and come back? And I totally could, and it's a must-have for every Leaf owner, the Pro version for sure. So if you're ever thinking about getting an EV for city use, or even just committing to it completely, 2 things. What's your commute time? Where are your charging options if you're charging at work or public? If you're at home, definitely go for it, as long as your other commitments don't have you driving a lot. If you're at home, it's kind of a no-brainer. Or if you have a home, it's kind of a no-brainer. You can plug it in at home if you need to. So I really enjoyed it. It's just, I've had no maintenance on this thing for 2 years. When I first got the car, I got it aligned And that's it. The brakes are still good, tires are still good. I've put about 8,000 miles on it in 2 years, so fair amount. So I really liked it this time, and the times I have driven a ICE car, it's just, I appreciate the electric cars so much more coming back to them after driving those. It's just so much smoother and more enjoyable to drive. So let me know your thoughts and any comments you have. Catch you next time.